On today's episode of Dance Med Spotlight, I'm speaking with Marisa Hollingsworth. She is the executive and artistic director of Presenting Denver. In this episode, we, of course, talk about what is Presenting Denver and all of the amazing breadth and depth of opportunities that they're creating for dancers and artists, not only in Denver proper, but throughout Colorado. We talk about Marisa's personal journey through dance, growing up as a dancer, moving on to being a professional dancer in a variety of capacities, and then transitioning yet again to being a support within the community, being more on the business and executive side of dance and the performing arts. We talk about all of that and so much more, especially about their event that's coming up in August of 2026. It's an annual event though, so even if you catch this after that date, know that another one is coming up the next year. Some really amazing performers that are going to be a part of this great event. So learn about all of this and more by sticking around through the rest of the episode. Welcome back to another episode of Dance Med Spotlight, where we talk about all things dance medicine and dance science. Today, I'm excited for my guest, Marisa Hollingsworth. Welcome.
Thank you, Alyssa. I'm excited to be here. I'm the first one.
Yes. So my very first question for everybody who joins me here, tell us a little bit about who you are and what your role is in the dance space. The short story version.
Short story version. Well, I was born in a code. Okay. I am originally from Detroit, Michigan. Let me start with my name. My name is Marisa Hollingsworth, and I'm the executive and artistic director of Presenting Denver. I took over Presenting Denver in August of 2020 and immediately shut down. Tell you a little background story. Like I said, I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I went to undergrad at Spelman College, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. It is a historically Black college, but I wanted to dance. So my summers were spent in New York at Dance Theater of Harlem. My mother allowed me to go there. And from there, my love of ballet actually grew. Once I graduated from Spelman, I joined Ballethnic Dance Company, which is also a predominantly African-American ballet company in Atlanta. I was with them for 5 years and then kind of felt the need to kind of spread my wings. And a friend of mine was currently dancing in Cleo Robinson's company, and she encouraged me to come and audition. Mind you, I had not been past Chicago at that point in my life, 21, 22. So I auditioned. Cleo hired me, and I drove from Atlanta to Denver, which I won't ever do again. It was a lot. And then from there, I danced with Cleo for about 4 years. Then I got married, and then I still didn't want to give up dancing, but I think being in a big company and touring and all that kind of stuff kind of was just challenging on my body. So I transitioned to smaller dance companies. Hannah Khan Dance Company just recently closed. I danced with Hannah. My son is 14, 15, at least 10 years. I think I danced with her through both pregnancies. And then I did New World, Contemporary, and just smaller dance companies all around Colorado. And then I had an injury that kind of put me on my heels, and I decided to retire. And that's when my husband encouraged me to go into the business side of it. So I actually joined the board of the Children's Museum of Denver. And I was on that board concurrently with dancing through COVID. And then this opportunity to take over Presenting Denver fell into my lap. And because I had already been a board member at a really huge organization, I kind of felt like I could be the voice for dancers, artists, because, honey, I was everything, the struggling artist. I worked, I taught. I remember changing around Bath and Body Works, changing the lotions from midnight to 3 a.m. So I did that, go to sleep, go dance. So here I am, taking over Presenting Denver, and immediately shut down because of COVID. And I just wanted to rebuild it as a dancer, artist first nonprofit organization. So we took away almost everything. I started with a new board for the most part and just started to rebuild those relationships in the dance community and give artists a voice to be heard, and let them know that they're loved and appreciated. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
I love it. I love it. So before we get much further into conversation, I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to talk a bit more about presenting Denver specifically. So I know, like, even for myself over the years, I would kind of like hear the name here and there, and I'd see them pop up at, like, when I was at CODIO at the Colorado Dance Education Organization, there's been a table there for a few years and that sort of thing. But for folks who haven't heard about it, tell us more about what it is.
Great question. So at the heart, Presenting Denver, we are a nonprofit organization that shines a spotlight on small to mid-level artists by giving them connections that wouldn't necessarily come easy for them. Um, we also curate and produce one-of-a-kind unique performances that you have to catch it to see it because it won't happen that way again. Um, let's see, our base is our website. We are the only one-stop shop in the state of Colorado, arts nonprofit that has a calendar. So like if you want to know where to take ballet on Mondays, you will go to our calendar. We have a directory, which is like the yellow pages, but with actual pictures and websites, where you can click on and know about that company. That also connects directly to the calendar, meaning if you hover over Cleo, what would show up would be the company, the Instagram, the email, all that kind of stuff. Um, I also have a team of writers. I have about 7 writers right now that go out on request, or if they find something that they want to write about, and they write usually like a one-page article or like a review on the dance, which is really needed right now because when I started with Cleo, I'm not going to tell you how old I am. Like we had the Westward and we had Denver Post and like all
Yeah.
these magazines and article and newspapers would come and watch us rehearse and then write about it to help sell tickets. Well, that's nearly gone, basically all. I think the Westward is the only one that does it still. So Presenting Denver, I saw a hole and just wanted to fill that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and then we do once a year, we have an annual dance festival. The last 5 years, it has been in partnership with the Robert and Judy Newman Center for the Performing Arts. It's in
Mm-hmm.
the Byron Theater. And we specifically pick artists and dance companies that are contract to contract, short term, that don't have budgets of $50,000 or 75, or, don't have galas, but the dancers are often, parents, their moms, they're juggling 3 jobs. These
Mm-hmm.
companies usually cannot afford the rental space, the tech, and the overhead. So Presenting Denver comes in and we take care of all of that for 8 dance companies. And yeah, and then I think something that is unique to us is this concept of creating unique partnerships that are kind of like thinking outside the box. In the past, we have partnered with the MCA, the Contemporary Art Museum. We've done 3 events there. We have partnered with the Children's Museum of Denver. Oh, they have a special place in my heart, for Denver Arts and Venues Night at the Museum, which this is really a specific and special one because you cannot just walk into the Children's Museum. You have to be either a parent, a guardian, or have a child with you. But
Mm-hmm.
one night a year, anybody can come and be a child. Anybody. And that's part of Denver Arts and Venues Night at the Museum. It's free. And in the past couple of years, we have showcased 5 dance companies in and around the museum. So some are in bubbles, some are outside, somebody's in the climbing thing, the tappers are in the energy. And I love it because it puts art where art should be,
Yeah.
with people that, and families that, one, maybe cannot afford it, 2, will not ever think to go to see a tap, performance or ballet.
Mm-hmm.
And right there, their kids are like painting and they look up and they're like, oh, that's nice. And they continue to go back. And like, it's really communal. And that's one of my favorite partnerships. Uh, yeah, lastly, I have a all-female board. I'm very proud to say that.
Yeah.
I love these women. They push me and they push me, but I love them. We chat often about life and what's going on with our bodies and whatever, and then we get into the business. So
Mhm.
I love them. So yeah, I would say that's what Presenting Denver is. We are here for the artists. We're dancer first. Um, and then new this year, we're starting a series of workshops for free, open to all dancers, admins, the costume people. It doesn't matter. Because when I dance with Cleo, I hate to say this, I did not know how to balance my checkbook. I wasn't really good with
Mhm.
saving money. Um, Plus I was young, so anyway, I'll say that. So I would like Presenting Denver. The hope is to provide access to financial groups, law
Mhm.
firms, physical therapy, mental health that one dancers might not have the time for, money to attend, and maybe they're shy, maybe they're apprehensive, and we are
Mhm.
all on the same playing field. I've been there, done that, and yeah, I think that's. I'm very proud of Presenting Denver. We've grown exponentially, and
Mhm.
like I said, the board pushes me, my committee members push me, my husband pushes me,
Mhm.
fellow dancers push me. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and what I really hear from all of that is Presenting Denver is ultimately creating opportunities, whether it's opportunities for dancers to make connections, to learn more about non-dance things that they should know
Yes,
and that can help them be successful, help them find opportunities for performance and work and things like that. So I mean,
absolutely.
it is the opportunity hub, it sounds like.
Absolutely, I like that. Absolutely, it is, and it's just because I recognize that, like dancers, we are athletes. We are football players. We are basketball players. We don't just roll off the couch and get on the stage. This takes years of training, extra classes. When you go audition, there's usually a fee, right? Like
Mhm.
we are athletes. We don't like things just don't roll to us. So I like that. We are the opportunity nonprofit. I forgot to add, we do have a audition coming up. It is May
Mhm.
30th. This is going to air, and it is a community audition. And I've invited fellow dance companies, independent artists, anybody that's looking for even project-based work to come and view these dancers who audition. There's no audition fee. And to create that kind of linkage and bridges and to break down the walls of being insular. I think that's what
Mhm.
I learned from COVID is that we can't survive pre-COVID
Yeah.
anymore. That's not going to happen. So the way to continue to bring the arts to people and and to get butts in seats, I hate that
Mhm.
sentence, but is to
Mhm.
branch out and to think outside the box and to make connections like I did with you, just off the cuff. I was like,
Yeah.
hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
we're all connected. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true, and I think I mean, just thinking about so many of the dancers that I've known over the years and, whether it's friends or dancers that I
Mm,
support in the clinic or
mm,
whomever it might be, there's so many that, especially if they started out young, they spent many, many hours in the dance studio and training and competing and performing and all of these things. And a lot of times it also took away from, maybe some of the opportunities where you would have been out there learning some of these other skills that are being presented
yes,
through workshops that you're doing, or, things where it's like, I don't know, I feel like there are a lot of things that even if dancers are wanting to pursue it as a profession in the
yes.
future, there's a lot that doesn't get talked about of, well, what does that actually mean and how does
What-
that actually work?
Exactly, exactly. I think so. Like when I told my mother I wanted to dance after she paid for college, so that was nice.
Mhm.
Thanks for this degree. I'm not going to use it right now. I'm actually going to go this way. Um, it was like a big, just an eye opener for her and my family, to realize how little at that time I got paid
Mhm.
contract wise. What this profession does to your mental health, to your physical body as well.
Yeah.
Um, you know, just the mental grind of going out for roles, showing up to audition, talking. For a long time I used to say, I don't talk, I just dance.
Right.
Well, that's not feasible anymore. To be a
Mhm.
well-rounded artist, I need to be able to talk. And I think that those things definitely fell by the wayside
Mhm.
for a lot of dancers and artists. These new kids. I was like, how would I have even made it if I was a dancer, like starting
Mm.
out right now? I don't
Mhm.
know. I don't
Mhm.
know. It's definitely more difficult, I think, to
Yeah.
find contracts, to find spots. Um, with the internet and social media and all of that, it's I think it's more mental gymnastics that
Mhm.
dancers have to do versus when I was, you know, growing up, dancing. Like, this wasn't the 1800s, it was literally like 1990s.
Mhm.
I wasn't that far ago, but still, it feels like it was on a different planet. Yeah, and just really for me, what I've heard for dancers as they go through companies or project-based work is, how do I survive?
Yeah.
If I want to start a family, I've had this partner, boy or girl, whatever, and we want to get married or we want to buy a house. How do I do that on a salary that fluctuates, on a contract that's not regular? Um, I know also one of the a
Mhm.
lot of the dancers that I danced with did not know how to do their taxes. And I thought that was
Mm.
really interesting because a lot of them ended up having to, like, they filed and then they would have to owe again because they didn't take out
Yeah.
enough, or right here they're independent, but right here they work, dance for Cleo.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I think you're spot on with that. We just need we just need more education. We need more transparency
Yeah.
and more organizations that uplift the arts and dance and all those supporting people, the admins, the tech, the sound
Mhm.
guy, somebody who lays the Marley, your shoes, like going to, point your shoes, top
Yeah.
shoes, kind of all of that. Um, yeah, and so that's what I hope Presenting Denver can provide for
Mhm.
people. Yeah.
Mhm. Definitely.
Mhm.
One thing I
Yeah.
wanna ask more about too that you mentioned in, sort of your history of
Mhm.
dance, your personal history with it. Um, I think what you said about, coming out and working with Cleo, a big company, if people aren't familiar with Cleo, I feel like most people are,
I should
but,
know. Yeah.
Cleo is a big company here, um, and then moving to smaller companies. I think sometimes dancers, especially, I work with a lot of teenage dancers and
Mhm.
learn that they have a goal of someday becoming professionals and that kind of thing, and most of the time when I ask them, "If you could tell me, like, what your dream job would be or, your big goal, what would it be?" And it's really big companies like, Royal Ballet and
Mhm.
all of these different things, and it's rare that I hear them talking about, "I'd like to join the Hannah Khan," or, things like that as a smaller
Yeah.
company. What was that experience for you and sort of that journey of making the
Mhm.
decision?
That's a good question. Dancing with Cleo, I mean, it was a shock. It was, I didn't necessarily think that I wanted to be in a big company like that.
Mhm.
Um, Honestly, I wanted to be a ballerina. My goal was to dance with Dance Theater of Harlem. There's something about ballet that really attracts me. The kind of boundaries, like there's a right way and a wrong way, and my personality type identifies with that,
Mhm.
because like my body already knows what to do. I know if I do this, then that's wrong. So joining Cleo's was a shock to me because we did, like, the rep was all over the place. It was not just ballet, and I had to stop talking to myself like that and be open
Mm.
and willing and just put everything out there, because that's the only way I think I grew as a dancer. And to also look at the people that were around me, everybody had a special gift. And I wouldn't compare, because when you compare, you always end up on the bottom. You look at them and you say, oh my God, I love that turn, or I love how she goes across the floor. Let me
Mhm.
always go with her. Right. So I forced myself to go with people that I thought could be a value added to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's just like working at, like if you worked at like an ice cream shop or something like that. At a certain point, it's kind of like the gears stop turning. And it's not that, it's anything wrong with you. Maybe you have just outgrown that job.
Yeah.
And at that point in my life, I think I just had outgrown the rigors of touring, the rigors of being, there every day. We took class from like 10 to 11:30, and then we rehearsed. And, so I started to look at companies that would challenge me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really drawn to Hannah's class because she always started off with a floor bar. I'd never taken floor bar. I was like, what are we doing on the floor? First of all, I don't like laying on the floor. I don't like floor work.
Mm-hmm.
But dancing with Hannah, my body reshaped itself and I became even stronger. And Hannah, how she heard music and how she choreographed was also a challenge for me. Coming from Cleo's, which, predominantly Black, our repertoire is more athletic, you know, heavy African tones, heavy deep, but Hannah was the same but different. And I remember her telling me at one point, like, okay, like you got everything. Let's just round out some of your corners. Like you don't have to attack every tendu or leap like it's, stealing your money. Like just chill out for a second. And that helped me kind of layer on top of what I learned from Cleo, this art of dance, this performing. I got to a place where I started to really want to dance happy. And not that I wasn't dancing happy with Cleo's, but it's this kind of almost like euphoric place in my career where if I made a mistake on stage, it did not affect the piece that was right after that or the next 8 counts right after that, right? It was something within the mistake that was also beautiful. And I stopped beating myself up and saying, oh, like in rehearsal, you did 3 turns and on stage, you got 1.5 and you hopped your last one. Okay, that was interesting. Let's move on. Right.
Yeah.
This stopping this rhetoric of beating myself up. Because within that space, it allowed me to grow, it allowed me to transform, and it allowed me to get on stage and just, like I said, just dance happy. And not really think. And that's what I see sometimes when I go and see other dance companies or other dancers. There's always 1 or 2 that you're like they are just euphoric, regardless of the technique. Like that's there. That's a given. But how do you stand out in a crowd? How do you so that's what I learned from Hannah. We did a lot of school shows. Some of them were in the cafetoriums. Y'all, you don't want to know what that is. Smell like,
oh yes,
like ham and Cheetos and the kids. But anyway, but it was an amazing experience. I got to know a lot of dancers that were from totally different backgrounds from like me, some that didn't go to school, some did, and it was just a really awesome time to grow. Hannah is a wealth of knowledge. Her background, Juilliard, Mark Morris was in her company. I remember watching videos because we had to learn off of these videos. Mark Morris is in these videos, you guys. Like, I was like, Hannah. She was like, yep, that's him. And she would just continue on about her. Right. I was like, okay. Right. So humble.
Yeah.
And I still love floor bar. I think that's one of the best ways to warm your body up. Is laying on the floor and getting grounded and figuring out where your hips are. And, especially like when I was pregnant, I still did floor bar. So of course, like your center of balance is different, more forward. Yes. My hips were more open but it, I'm still an athlete. So, and then I say from there, other opportunities come when you are open and when you're humble and when you grow. So from there, these other different dance companies came about, and I'm really happy with my career. I'm really happy with it. Um, I don't know if I would have survived in a big dance company. I think there's a lot of mental stress that you have to deal with,
Yeah.
on top of body issues. Um, and my body has always been, I'm a non-traditional body for
Hmm.
sure. So hearing those things repeated over and over, I had to learn how to work outside of that.
Hmm.
Cleo helped, Hannah helped for sure. So I guess my advice would be just be open.
Yeah.
Just be open. Just be open to every opportunity. This world is changing. The dance world
Hmm.
is changing. Um, contracts, big companies, all of that. Budget is changing.
Hmm.
So go see the world. I don't know, like just dance. Just be happy. Dance happy. I think that's my
Yes.
slogan.
Yes. 100%. Well, and I think one of the things that you said really sort of resonated with me, just thinking, both in my dance history, because I've danced my whole life. I never did it professionally, but,
Mm.
competed, performed, all of that kind of stuff, still compete and perform and take classes. Um,
Yeah.
and then also just thinking about professionally outside of dance. And there is so much truth to what you're saying of, when you can kind of learn to embrace the imperfections and like, what is the opportunity here right
Mm.
now, instead of just, I need to be perfect at everything and I need to, make the right decision right out the bat and that kind of thing. I mean, there's so many things that we can learn along the way from people, from situations, from, whatever it is that we're encountering. And so building that skill of being open to that and how are we learning from those experiences is so incredibly important.
It is. It is. I think, like I kind of wish so I want to say so Colorado Ballet has like a in-house therapist, physical and mental, like they have these things
Mhm.
ingrained in their dancers. Um, I kind of wish that would have happened for me younger, like at
Mhm.
a younger point in my career. Um,
Yes.
because especially just auditioning straight out the box is already a nerve-wracking mental jail. And
Mhm.
it can be for anything, school, no school, company, scholarship, competition scholarships, convention scholarships, right? Learning, picking up this material quickly and then giving it back out, um, is like your mental health is the most important thing. That regulates everything,
Yeah.
body awareness, how you show up. My daughter is 11 and she's a dancer, and I don't know, I find myself holding back, not necessarily holding back from her, but really thinking about how I talk to her within the space of dance. But she's only
Mm.
11. She's as tall as me. I'm not very tall. I'm only 5 feet. That's not saying much. But just being really thoughtful of her mental capacity,
Mhm.
because I don't want her to grow up and in the back of her mind is that always that voice that's like, "You're not good enough," or "You didn't do that right," or right. So I didn't find dancing happy until I was almost 40 years old versus she's 11. So like let's start it young.
Yes.
Body and all that kind of stuff. It's hard out here, but I love the arts. I love the arts. I think it's a way to see the world, meet new
Mhm.
people, find out who you are.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
reflected back on you. Um,
definitely.
yeah, it's a good thought.
Yeah. I think, sometimes when I go and take classes somewhere, there usually some sort of mix, like teen adult class for kids who
Mm,
are more rec dancers. They're not in the competition or performance space really. And one of the things that now, as the adult and, the older adult in the classroom, taking these classes, that I recognize in those teenagers that are often in the class, there's a difference of, they're very hesitant to go across the floor. They're, it's like, well, but who am I going to be partnered with? And, I don't know. And sort of this just, you can feel the hesitation that they have, or
Yeah.
lack of confidence, which, is normal as kids
Correct.
also. We have to figure
Correct.
all of that out. But
Correct.
then I go in there with my years of all the different things and
Yeah.
can go in, and it's like, we'll give it a try. We'll see what happens. It'll be fun, and it's like, I am so thankful to be at that place for myself, and I'm looking forward for them of when they get to,
Get to the
be
place
in that place to
it
just be
just
like,
coast. Yeah, and
mhm,
just enjoy it. Like, you enjoy the
yeah,
class, you enjoy the
yeah,
people, you enjoy where your body is at that time. You know,
mhm,
it's it's cool, it's good. I do like
yes.
that at that place too. Yeah, I should take more class. I don't know why. I mean, I should. I don't know. Life just is busy, and I'm
It
like, "Should I
is.
take class or should I not?" But
It is.
I
It's
should.
hard to make the time consistently to get into classes, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I love it. I used to love taking class. I loved
Mhm,
it. It was a great way to stay in shape, great. It was yes, and I didn't have to, like you said, like, if my foot or if my leg was at 90 or 45, I was like, "That's fine. I'm not
mhm.
trying to, spasm my back out for is anybody gonna hire me? Like, I'm good. Just have fun." So,
Right,
yeah, I
exactly.
love that.
Yeah.
Love that. So one of the other things too is that, so I've served on the NIFA grant dance board for
Mhm,
the past 3 years. I've actually last year was my last round of it. And NIFA is the New England Foundation for the Arts. They are funded by two big organizations. One of them had to pull out. The Mellon Foundation pulled out, so that for this year it shifted a lot of dance grants. And what I learned in that process is Colorado, specifically Denver, can be a huge hub for dance.
yes.
A lot of dancers usually use or did use Denver in the past as a pass through, kind of like
Mhm,
New York on their way to LA or Europe or something like that. And the amount of like grants that we got from Colorado last year was amazing.
mhm.
And that's kind of how I want Presenting Denver to kind of help like create opportunities and
Yeah.
jobs and also support mental health and physical health and learn
Mhm,
learn how to balance your checkbook, learn how to read a contract and make sure they're not messing you over or anything like that. So yeah, it was
mhm.
a great learning opportunity. But I was like, Denver's on the map. Like, we could do this. We could
Yeah,
definitely do this. Just
yeah.
how it's just reaching outside of just Denver Metro, like the Front
Mhm,
Range, Pueblo, Grand Junction,
mhm.
Aspen, Telluride. I mean, the list can go on and on and on.
Yeah,
Montrose, like like they're out there. It's just how can we
yes.
make more opportunities for people? So and that's why
Yeah.
I like partnering with like you and Brownstein and Mercer Advisors, giving these artists and dancers just an outlet.
Mhm.
Maybe somebody was apprehensive of approaching you
Right.
or talking to you about it. Or listen, so
Mhm.
I just want to make people happy. Just make
Yeah,
dancers,
yeah. And I
opportunity.
think that is such an important element, is like finding opportunities to work with one another and support one another will ultimately help the community. I know working with dancers so often, kind of historically, traditionally, a lot of times a dancer would go see a medical provider and
Mm,
with an injury, and it's, well, just stop dancing. And it's like, well, you wouldn't tell the football player that. You wouldn't tell a surgeon
exactly.
to stop doing surgery if his hand hurts. Like, you
Exactly.
would figure out how to help him. Let's
Exactly.
let's do the same thing for dancers. And so I think, that was so often the case, or people just didn't really know what to
What
do
to do.
about it. It's
Hmm.
like, well, yeah, you need something, but I don't exactly know how to help you. And so I think, it's changing for sure, that people are realizing that the story is different, that there are people who specialize and understand things a little bit better and that kind of stuff. But, we all need help getting the word out there. And, when I'm talking with my fellow dance physical therapists, we're often having those conversations of like, we're here, we want to help, but we
Yes.
need the people to like hear about
Yes.
us trust that we know what we're talking about,
Yes,
and that
yes,
kind of thing. And that's where we rely on community members to kind
yes,
of help
yes.
reflectively with some of that too.
Exactly. I'm like, please President Denver would be happy to be a conduit, a bridge, um, to definitely to connect because you guys are out there and dancers are here, artists are here, and it's just maybe one little line of separation. It's like, how can
Mhm.
we break those walls down? Like I said in the very beginning, like we can't do this by ourselves anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really look at the news anymore, but I'm like, I can't go through another pandemic. I cannot.
Right.
I'm like, I
No, thank you.
cannot do it. I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I'm like, okay, so how do we continue to strengthen just in case, just to be ready for everything, be ready for
Mhm.
funding changes,
Mhm.
what's happening in the world, um, people, you know, especially now with, the cost of everything.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the arts kind of falls by the side because it's something that most families can't afford, or it's like a splurge.
Mhm.
And if they don't have a family member performing or something like that, it's something that they really don't think about.
Yeah.
So that's what I would like Presenting Denver to be there to like stand strong and be that organization that's still standing. Hopefully not after another pandemic, but after just life, kind of how it happens with the world. So yeah, no, I like this conversation. Oh my god,
Yeah. Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Well, and it also makes me think when we were talking earlier too of like looking for opportunities to learn from things that come up. I think one of the things that we did learn through all of that was, a sudden, I feel like sort of explosion of the idea of dance for film and,
Mm,
doing like their dance student film festivals or, classes where it's like the sort of the videography part and how are you performing for a camera versus on stage for
versus
an
on stage.
audience and
Yes.
that kind of thing. And it's been really interesting kind of see
Mhm.
that suddenly become a lot more popular because we had to for a while.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
been sticking around, which is kind of cool. I've seen some really interesting things come up
yeah.
because of that.
Me too. Yeah, I don't know if I would have done good on, because the angles and everything, but
Hmm.
I think you are definitely correct. Like that came out of the need to still express ourselves but not be around people,
Hmm.
and it has evolved. I've also seen some really good dance films. Actually, in this year's dance festival, the 2026 dance festival, we are featuring a dance film by Erica and Randolph. She is a professor at CU Boulder, and it's on Rennie Harris, and
Mm.
it talks about his grandfather and father, I think, would use ham bone as a way to like make sounds and percussions with their hands, and that how that grew into rhythmic dancing, tap, hip hop, stepping. All of that came from a simple just hand sounds, hand movements.
Mhm.
Yeah, so Erica's amazing. She let us use the video for our festival. So that'll be in the last week in August. It's the first time
Mm.
that we are showing a dance film in the dance festival,
Mm.
because of the popularity of it.
Yeah.
And I've gotten a couple of inquiries, and I don't know. I think I was apprehensive before because I didn't know how it was going to come across,
Yeah.
but I think now is the time,
Mhm.
um, because the dance festival is meant to bring in people that wouldn't necessarily go see a dance performance, wouldn't drive to Boulder to see this, film, wouldn't drive to Grand Junction to see a ballet company. So we're bringing it here. And so
Mhm.
if I can expose more people and they can say, oh my God, that's amazing. Let me do research or let me sponsor, give, donate. We always
Yeah.
need more money. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Dance
Yeah,
festival.
so tell us more about this event that's coming up in August.
Yeah. Yes, so this is our sixth year partnering with the Newman Center. And this year, the festival is Friday at 7 p.m., but that is a special VIP invite only. Which you're invited, Alyssa. Event. It's a working dress rehearsal. So we, if we need to stop, we'll stop. But it gives the audience like a background of how this all comes together.
Mhm.
Then it's Saturday at 7 p.m. Saturday at 7:30, August 29th, and Sunday, August 30th at 2 p.m. Like I said, it's in the Byron, and we will be featuring this year. We have 9 dance companies and 1 dance film.
Mhm.
And I can run down the list. All right, so we have Nancy Cranborn, who is amazing. Work of art. This woman is like, she is jazz personified. She is
Mhm.
musical theater. I mean, her attitude is just so infectious. And she teaches a jazz class I think it's every week up in Boulder.
Mhm.
And it's filled with women from 16 to 85. And I love it. She makes me feel so good, even when I'm just like rolling on the floor. She's like, yes. And then we have Avid in Dance. My Alexa. Avid and Dance Company, which is a ballet company. And then we have Odd Knock Productions.
Mhm.
This is a new one for us as well. Odd Knock is an immersive theater. So one of the things I learned by being on the NIFA grant board was immersive work as a dance. And is it dance or is it theater? And, there's some that think one way and some that think this way, but
Mhm.
there was a lot of submissions. So that cued me into, okay, this is the direction that dance is going in. This is the direction art is going in, where they break that fourth wall and the audience, unbeknownst, is actually in the piece, even if they're
Mhm.
sitting or standing. So Odd Knock is going to do, I don't know, some really cool things
Yeah.
this year. Then we have Rogue Dance Company, which is based out of Boulder. I think there's like 14 women in this company. Uh,
Mm.
I love them. Just athletic. The way they hear the music is interesting. And I just love that it's 14. I'm like, how do you, I don't even know how you choreograph for like that many people. It's a lot of
Yeah.
bodies, a lot of
Yes.
partnering, interesting partnering.
Mhm.
And then we have Raw Groove, which is also based out of Boulder. Raw Groove is a company started by Constance. Constance is from Africa. I can't remember where, but she does like Afro house, hip hop, but in a storytelling way where you don't recognize that she's actually telling a story about maybe this couple and
Mhm.
their love, or maybe her and a friend, or it's really innovative, and I love that her movement is different. I was never good at hip hop. Surprise. I was like, I don't think I could ever be in her company, but I do like to pretend I know how to know what I'm doing.
Mhm.
And then I have a solo from In the Wings. Her name is Fallon, and Fallon has a really beautiful story. I originally approached Fallon in 2022, 2021, and that was right before the Marshall Fire. I think 25.
Mm.
Fallon lost everything: her
Mhm.
studio, her home, all of her equipment. She does aerial dance at a company. She has a company. Lost everything. And I told her that when she is ready, I would love to have her back. And um, she is rebuilding slowly. She's also gone through cancer, breast cancer. She is stronger and better than ever. And so I invited her back, and she's doing a solo specifically around the Marshall Fire.
Mm.
And I was drawn to it because the music is actual, like the police, the fire, like
Mm.
them talking
Yeah.
while this is going on, people
Mhm.
screaming, people crying, like it's very moving. And
Mhm.
I just told her I think that she's an amazing person, and I will always honor her contract. So she's gonna come back.
Mhm.
And then yeah, the dance film. And then I have a solo by Jonathan Ramirez, who is a principal dancer with Colorado Ballet. And I've known Jonathan for a couple years now, and we had a wonderful conversation last summer. Jonathan lost his mother right before he had to go on for Dracula. last year.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me he had found out his mother passed away, and he was doing like I think the lead for Colorado Ballet. So we talked about like loss and having like how do you still dance that role, how much of that like that mental capacity goes into that role, putting on a face, still dancing happy but sorrow. So
Yeah.
I just want him to be able to express himself and fly and not have to be Dracula or the Prince Charming or the Nutcracker King. Just be him. So I hope everybody can see that. And then we have our Presenting Denver Presenting Denver Ensemble, which is made up of professionals. I would say 18 to 85, doesn't matter to me. And this year we have Chloe Abel Grant will be the choreographer. Chloe she is a teacher and director of dance at Denver School of the Arts with Terrell Davis. She is also a previous member of Cleo Parker Robinson Dance Company. A beautiful person, beautiful mover. And I love Chloe. And I told her I will always give her a stage to express herself. And so asking her to come and choreograph on the ensemble. That's why we have an audition, so she could see bodies and see how she wants to build her piece.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, we have just created our Presenting Denver Youth Ensemble. I know those names are so similar. I know I need to like change one of them to be something else. I'm thinking about it. But this is the first year we are introducing our youth ensemble. And that is 14 to about 18 pre-professionals. Rachel Harding, who owns Miss Rachel's Dance, and Jessica Pittman would be the choreographers this year. And that is basically the lineup for this year's dance festival. Saturday, August 29th, we have free master classes. We have a pre-professional track and we have a professional track. Avid is teaching ballet. Raw Groove is doing hip hop. And Adnock is doing an immersive class. I don't know if I'm going to take that because, like I said, if they have me rolling on the floor, I'm going to be mad. But I'm kidding. I might take it. And the same for the pre-professionals. So the kids will also get ballet, Raw Groove, and immersive. And they will also get a therapy lecture on nutrition and just geared towards teens, talking about nutrition, body awareness, intimacy, which is interesting. Like I said, I wish we would have had an intimacy class when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because when you partner male, female, or in a group and you have to emote some type of feeling, but you're like, I don't know this person, I feel awkward. Maybe they're touching me on the way. So should I be like this? Or so really talk about how to protect your body, but also how to be intimate and still connect with your audience. So we're trying to build these blocks younger. So as they move through, they'll always remember, okay, all right. Oh yes, that's how okay, that's where I should place my hands. That's where I should, okay, like that. So that's a lot.
Yeah. No, I think that sounds so amazing. It's such I love just the variety of genres and names, individuals versus groups, different sort of methods of all of it as well, with film and immersion and all of that. And I mean, that's such a fun
He was like, is it too much
of things?
But I don't know. I really listen to the universe. I just I see a lot of dance. That's my work. As you know, you probably see a lot of dance too. Like you have to go into the office, which is the studio. And so I just really try and pick people and dance companies that touch me. And I hope that they can touch the audience. And dance companies, like I said, that might have been overlooked, don't have the budget for marketing, maybe don't have a consistent season, maybe they're more project based, but just to give them a voice and uplift them. And I'm always looking outside of Denver Metro. I want to go further. I want to go further and bring those companies in Yeah, just to educate people, and hopefully that builds community, helps build community and connections. And so, yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
absolutely. Well, I think this is a good opportunity for a special segment on the show. So, on every episode of Dance Med Spotlight, we have the final bow. Essentially, it's the take home message. So, we talked about a variety of things today. What are one or two things that you hope people who listen to the entire episode walk away with?
Hmm. I would say, okay, two things I would say. Use Presenting Denver. Um, we are a dancer first organization. This is not for me, about me, by any means. It is not. This is a platform that I hope comes across as caring, loving, connection based. Yeah, so use us, feel free to reach out to me. We are here for all artists, young, old, admin, costume, tech, doesn't matter. Use us. And then lastly, I would say dance happy. That's one of the biggest things that stuck with me through my career is dance happy.
Mhm.
Dance is in my soul. It's a part of me, and it's something that can never. I don't want to ever give it away. I just want to let it shine and draw more people in. And the way that I found to do that is to dance happy
Yes.
in your life. Always dance down the supermarket aisle. Dance, that's.
Yes. I dance when I'm making eggs in the morning.
There you go.
You got
Always
to find
moving
an
your body,
opportunity.
right?
Exactly.
And that attracts good energy. That attracts beautiful people like you, Alyssa. Like it just attracts people that feel the same way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
And then the last and certainly not least is the shameless plug. So you've had some opportunities to talk about Presenting Denver and the event that's coming up in August, but any other thing or like specific plug that you want to throw in there?
Let's see. I mean, yeah, so just depending on what's air, but May 30th is our community audition. If this comes out after that, feel free to still send me your videos, send me you dancing. I am always, always, always looking for artists. I'm always looking for new talent. Always looking for unique approaches to dance. Always. So just keep it coming. Um, See, after the dance festival, we will be partnering once again with the Children's Museum. That will fall sometime around the first weekend of November. And please come out and support that. Look on our website for more information. We will feature 5 dance companies again. And just come out and be a kid. I love the Children's Museum. I don't know if you've ever been there. I love it. And it's not just for
Mhm.
kids. I find myself in the bubbles and in the energy and trying to figure out how to make like the paper airplane to shoot through
Yes.
the circle of the sun and stuff. Like it's an amazing place. And yeah, I'm always open, always looking, always approachable. Check out our events calendar. That's where a lot you will find auditions, you will find rental spaces, classes, job listings. Use us. Use us.
Yeah.
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 Use us. What do you
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Marissa. It was great getting to chat with you.
You too. Thank you, Alyssa. This was fun.
Dance Med Spotlight is hosted and produced by Alyssa Arms. We discuss all things dance medicine. This has been another episode from Dance Med Spotlight. The Dance Med Spotlight is intended for educational purposes only. No clinical decision making should be based solely on one source. While care is taken to ensure accuracy, factual errors can be present.